तो मैं डिस्कस करने वाला हूँ थोड़ा फ़िलॉसफी के बारे में और कुछ पॉइंट्स बताना चाहूँगा जो कि मैंने अभी रीड किया और बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा मुझे। ठीक है, मैं उस पॉइंट से एग्री करता हूँ। तो क्वेश्चन आंसर टाइप से है, जिसका किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा और ओशो ने उसका जवाब दिया। ठीक है, तो क्वेश्चन है, अ फ्रेंड हु हैज़ अ PhD in computing and whose thesis was on artificial intelligence says that man is a biochemical computer and nothing more. Buddha has said that all things are composite and there is no self, no soul, no spirit and no I. I का मतलब मैं, which seems to agree with my friend's viewpoint. Could you please help me because I feel that there is something missing from these views but I can't see it myself. तो क्वेश्चन में थोड़ा समझाने का कोशिश करूँ तो यहाँ पे बताया गया है कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस जो है उसके पास भी कोई सोल नहीं होता है। ठीक है, उसके पास भी कोई आई का व्यू पॉइंट नहीं होता है, वो क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकता कि हु एम आई। ठीक है, अभी तक जहाँ भी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पहुँचा है कॉन्शियसनेस का व्यू पॉइंट से अगर देखा जाए तो, so there is no self. And Buddha also has said the same things in the past in his teachings. That is why the man who is asking these questions. तो इसका मतलब अगर मैं संक्षेप में जवाब दूँ, क्योंकि काफ़ी 4-5 पेज का इसका जवाब है, लेकिन संक्षेप में अगर मैं देता हूँ तो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि साइकोलॉजी कैन बिकम ओनली अ रियल साइकोलॉजी व्हेन मेडिटेशन बिकम्स इट्स फाउंडेशन। साइकोलॉजी जो है वो बिना मेडिटेशन के अधूरा है, उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है बिना मेडिटेशन के। ठीक है, द वर्ल्ड साइकोलॉजी मीन्स द साइंस ऑफ द सोल। मॉडर्न साइकोलॉजी इज़ नॉट येट अ साइंस ऑफ द सोल। मॉडर्न साइकोलॉजी बिहेवियर्स, पैटर्न्स, अलग अलग प्रकार के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, इन सबको स्टडी करके बनाया गया है। उसके लिए कोई ज़्यादा डीप इनसाइड इनिशिएटिव नहीं हुआ है, खुद के अंदर झांकने का प्रयास नहीं हुआ है। एंड मेडिटेशन इज़ द थिंग विच कैन रियली ट्रांसफॉर्म समवन। मैं खुद मेडिटेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, और तो मैं सोचूंगा क्योंकि आप जिम जाने के लिए एक्सरसाइज करते हो, वैसे ही आप अगर माइंड को अपने ब्रिलियंट बनाना चाहते हो तो उसके लिए आप कुछ ना कुछ तो करोगे। ठीक है, एंड दैट हैज़ टू बी मेडिटेशन और सम हार्ड वर्क विच योर माइंड इज इन्वॉल्व इन डूइंग, like math or science, etc. So, Buddha certainly has denied the self, the ego, the I. He has not denied the soul, and the self and the soul are not synonymous. वो बोल रहे हैं ओशो कि सोल को उन्होंने डिनाइड नहीं किया, उन्होंने सिर्फ ईगो और आई को डिनाइड किया है। ठीक है, हाउ इज़ दिस पॉसिबल, तो उसको भी उन्होंने आगे एक्सप्लेन किया है और बड़े ध्यान से सुनना। ठीक है, He denies the self because the self exists only in the unconsciousness man. तो सेल्फ जो है वो इसलिए डिनाई करते हैं क्योंकि वो एक अनकॉन्शियस मैन में ही एग्जिस्ट कर सकता है। वाई? द अनकॉन्शियस मैन नीड्स अ सर्टेन आइडिया ऑफ आई, अदरवाइज ही विल बी विदाउट ए सेंटर। बिना किसी पर्पस के, बिना किसी मीनिंग के एक अनकॉन्शियस मैन कभी काम नहीं करेगा। सो ही नीड्स सम काइंड और सम फॉर्म ऑफ बिलोंगिंग to make him do the work. Sounds like me. He does not know his real center. He has to invent a false center so that he can at least function in the world. Otherwise, his functioning will become impossible. He needs a certain idea of I. So, उसके बाद में बोलते हैं ओशो बुद्ध को डिफेंड करते हुए और बुद्ध के जो आइडियाज़ है वो बताते हुए कि he says, मतलब बुद्ध says, you are not the body. Buddha says to his disciple that you are not the body. Buddha is commenting on the idea of I, self. So he says you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the self. He goes on denying, eliminating. Now, focus on the word eliminating. He goes on denying and eliminating whatever you put forth. Okay. So he eliminates everything that you can conceive of. So जो भी तुम सोच सकते हो उसको बुद्ध जो है वो एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं। एंड देन ही डज नॉट से एनीथिंग अबाउट व्हाट इज लेफ्ट। ओके, आई हैव अ बेटर साइंटिफिक टर्म टू एक्सप्लेन दिस, सो आई विल कम टू इट लेटर। दैट विच इज लेफ्ट इज योर रियलिटी। सो देर इज नो बॉडी, मीन्स एवरी फिजिकल थिंग इज गॉन, देर इज नो कॉन्शियसनेस, there is no there is nothing in your body, not even soul is left. And what, after removing all these things, the thing left, that is reality, that is the concept of I, which I find that it is very convincing and very fascinating to hear. That yes, now the way I see it is like that. You the Osho has also explained this here, but I want to go into details. So Osho has said that uh, that utterly pure sky without clouds, no thought, no identity, no emotion, no desire, no ego, nothing is left. All clouds have disappeared, just the pure sky remains. It means that when you look at the sky, there are clouds, there is something. So you might ask that there is something behind that cloud, or there may be something behind that cloud. There might be something, or there not might be something. But if there are no clouds and you can't see anything, then you know that there is nothing to be focusing on. So you try to concentrate on yourself, like see the space is clearly looks empty, but there is something, certainly there is something which is making all the planets, all the galaxies go in a harmonious way. Okay, which scientists have doesn't have, which scientists did not have discovered till now, which is known as dark matter or dark energy. So I must not go too much details, because I, even myself, I have this knowledge in a very constraintful manner, not the full scope, or neither do have the scientist. So what we call the standard model is the like the gut grand unified theory of all theories, in which it involves GTR, general theory of relativity, quantum theory of quantum mechanics. It relates everything, but it does not relates gravity. It has problem with gravity. So scientists are keeping search for that thing. So my point is to make you understand that there is something beyond everything. Okay, so that is what Osho is trying to express here. It is inexpressible, unnameable, indefinable. That is why he keeps absolutely silent about it. He knows that if anything is said about it, you will immediately jump back to your old idea of the self. अगर तुम किसी भी चीज़ से रिलेट करते हो, मतलब मैंने बोल दिया कि देखो बादल के पीछे तो एक गॉड है, so you will try to relate the god, that I am the god, or god is inside me, all these things. But if there is nothing behind the clouds, then you will relate to nothing. And when you relate to nothing, you don't derive a conclusion, and you go on learning and learning more things. So that is the progress, that is the progress of an individual being. And so you will not find any self, and you will not stick to an idea. Okay, change is life, as Albert Einstein has said. A man who is wise knows how to change and when to change is permanent, temporary is permanent. Okay, temporary things are permanent in life, but nothing permanent is temporary. What I'm speaking, nothing permanent last permanently, but temporary things last permanently. मतलब कि कभी भी कोई चीज़ हमेशा के लिए नहीं होती है, थोड़े थोड़े टाइम के लिए ही होती है, जब भी लाइफ में होती है. सो आफ्टर दैट देयर इज समथिंग मोर. सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, हाउ कैन वन डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन एनलाइटेड सेल्फ एंड ईगोमेनिया. मतलब कि सेल्फ लव क्या होता है और ईगोमेनिया क्या होता है, ईगोइस्टिक क्या, ईगोइज्म क्या होता है, ईगो क्या होता है इंसान के अंदर. तो इसके अंदर मैंने छोटा सा पार्ट हाईलाइट किया जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा डीप नहीं है. इफ़ यू लव मनी you will become like money. If you love your house, by and by you will become material. तो यहाँ पे क्या मतलब हो रहा है कि इफ़ यू लाइक मनी विल बिकम, तो पैसा जैसा गड्डी थोड़ी बन जाएंगे. सो ही इज सेइंग लाइक दैट इफ़ यू लव मनी, देन यू विल स्टार्ट वर्किंग और डूइंग सम वर्क, एंड द पीपल हु आर फॉर whom you are working and they are giving you money, so they will see you as a money making machine. So for them, you are like money, you are like an asset, you are not a human being. This relates with the corporate world as well. They see you as not your employee. The most of the times they see as a product giving organism. Okay, they see your work, they don't have to do anything with you. Why the Ford Motors or why the Deloitte or HB would have to give a fuck about the employee? What does employees state of mind, employees personal details would matter to any company? They just see you as your work. Okay, so that is what is being said here, that if you love money you will become like money. If you love your house, by you will become material. Whatsoever you love you become. जो भी तुम प्यार करोगे वही बन जाओगे. लाइक यू सॉ पर्सन, ओके, and you like that person, and somehow you fell love in that person, whether it is male or female. Okay, it is your choice. So the things that person likes, you will try to copy them for the most of the time. If so, how will you get together if you don't like the same things? Okay, there has to be something common so that you both can relate and talk about. If there is nothing to talk about, why do we you and the other person will relate? So you try to find those things which you and them can relate. Okay, so here it is said that whatsoever you love, you become like it. So the person had something to love, and you are loving the same thing, so you're becoming more and more like that person. You are getting my point, what I am saying here. So love is all chemical. Never love the wrong thing, and never love the wrong thing. Okay, you will become like that because it will transform you. Never love the wrong thing because it will transform you. Nothing is transforming. Nothing is transforming as love. Love जितना कोई ऐसा चीज़ नहीं है जो किसी को बदल दे. Love something that can raise you higher to higher altitudes. Love something beyond you. So that was it for the video. It might have got boring, but there is more interesting questions ahead. I will not go into the details, but I will just read the questions because they're interesting. If you are curious, you know about Franz Kafka, Dostoevsky. I have read only half of the Metamorphosis book by Franz Kafka, but I do have read the Osho this book, Destiny, Freedom, and Soul, and Hidden Mysteries. So I can relate with Osho well. So I'm new to this thing, but I quite like it. Third question is, I have heard you say that Buddha will not speak of any god because it cannot be proved, yet in the next breath he speaks of other lives and reincarnation. How does this fit into scientific fact? Buddha says there is no soul. What is that remains after death? What is reincarnation? Now, here comes the important part of this question. I vaguely understand that it can be the formless that remains, but can that have an individual entity? The same wave is not reborn. Okay, and the next question is the most short question, one line question, one liner, but it is like you can feel it, that is like that. So it is next somewhere. Yes, is there anything a seeker has to ask for? Is there anything to be searched for, or does everything happen on its own? Do you have to do something, or everything happens on its own? What is the meaning of effort here? If everything happens on its own, and everything happens on its own, is the future also decided? So there is not a scientific point of view and strongly agree that this will happen, but there is a philosophical point of view that might try to convince you or give you some kind of idea. So this was all for today's video. I uploaded because I found it interesting, and there are some more good topics from the other books. If you like the video, you can like the video if you like it, and subscribe as well. सो बाय।